Hey everybody! Tonight we're talking about would, should, and could, the modal verbs. Let's get started. Modals of lost opportunity. Should, could, would, and the perfect infinitive. When talking about the past, we use all modals with the perfect simple infinitive or perfect continuous infinitive. Should plus have watched, would plus have gone, could plus have been playing, must plus have been listening, and might have been built in the passive voice. Remember, when referring to the present or future time, we use modal plus the base form or bare infinitive of the main verb. You should go to the doctor's. They want them to do this now or in the near future. They're advising you to do this. Should is something we use with advice. But when referring to the past time, we use you should have gone to the doctor's yesterday. It was the best thing to do in the circumstances, but you didn't go. You should have gone. Because modals used in the past are followed by have and the past participle, or have been plus the ing form, or have been and the past participle, depending on the tense. They are often taught as should have, could have, and would have, and the past participle. Should have. When we use should have, we want to express that a decision we took or an action we made in the past was wrong, and that now we think a different decision or action would have been better. It often expresses the fact that we now regret having made that decision or regret what we did. I should have listened to my mother when she told me not to marry John. The emergency exits should have opened automatically, but for some reason they didn't, and 15 people were killed. The accident was my fault. I shouldn't have been driving so fast. Mary shouldn't have read the text messages John sent me. The box shouldn't have been thrown away. There was some money hidden in it. I should never have convinced Mary to buy that dress. It was far too expensive. Could have. At some time in the past, we had the possibility of making a decision or doing something, but we lost the opportunity. We either did nothing or decided to do something else. Why did you stay in a hotel? You could have stayed at Mary's. I know she asked you to. This is an opportunity that was possible, but you didn't take the opportunity you were offered. You could have stayed at Mary's. You could have asked me before you bought those tickets. I can't come with you on Friday. It was a bad idea to buy them without taking the opportunity of asking me previously. All the passengers could have been saved if the emergency services had arrived quickly. Would have. We cannot change the past, but we can imagine a different past. If there had been the possibility or opportunity, we imagine that actions or decisions would have been different. We are expressing an imaginary or hypothetical scenario. I would have loved to meet your mother, but unfortunately, I wasn't in town when she visited Stratford. I wouldn't have opened the window if I had known she had a high temperature. I would have phoned you to let you know I would be late, but there wasn't any credit left on my SIM card. I would have been driving up to London Road exactly at the time of the explosion if I hadn't stopped to buy some petrol. I would have certainly or could have possibly been killed in this hypothetical scenario. So remember, should can also be used to express prohibition, should never, obligation, or to give advice. Would can be used to express a request, would you please, a possibility, a speculation, as well to give advice, if I were you. Could can also be used to express ability, capability, permission, possibility, deduction, and to make a request or to make a suggestion. Great job sticking through that. Now let's do some exercises. All right, this will be part review, part quiz. I want you to choose the correct option. Remember, you're in a library. You don't have to speak loudly, mustn't speak loudly, or are allowed to speak loudly. Which modal is the correct one? Remember, you're in a library. You mustn't speak loudly. Don't forget to take an umbrella. It rain later. Might, can, or should. It might rain later. May she wear jewelry to school? Does she have to wear jewelry to school? Or is she allowed to wear jewelry to school? Is she allowed to? Betty, be ill. I've just seen her. Betty can be ill, Betty can't be ill, or Betty has to be ill. Betty can't be ill. You vacuum the carpet. Phil's already cleaned the room. You can't, you don't have to, or you mustn't. You don't have to vacuum the carpet. Larry, be at home. His car is outside. May, mustn't, or must. Larry must be at home. His car is outside. I take any electronic devices on school trips. I am not allowed, I am allowed, or I have to. I am not allowed to take any electronic devices on school trips. Whose pen is it? I'm not sure. It be Sandra's. Has to, must, or could. It could be Sandra's. You be hungry. You've just eaten lunch. Can't, have to, are allowed to. You can't be hungry. Students borrow up to 4 books at a time. Must, are allowed to, or can't. Students are allowed to borrow up to 4 books at a time. Mr. Black be away this weekend, but we're not sure. Might, has to, or must. Might. He speaks Spanish fluently. He's been in Madrid for only a week. He can't speak Spanish fluently. Great job. All right, let's put the lesson to good use. For the homework, I would like you guys to use either would have, could have, should have, and the past participle to complete these sentences. So, I would have, could have, should have bought the red dress if I had had enough money. It was my intention. All right, thank you guys and have a great night.